That was exactly when I hit start stream.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds about right.
Like, right as I do, I just see OBS go with scoring coughs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that your weekend went well as we dive into another week of adventure. I'm going to go with a quick roll call to assure that everyone is here, get their character sheets at the ready, before we begin our recap of the previous session. Bella.
Hello.
Riley.
Hi.
Joseph. Or just Joe. Whichever you're going to respond to. He might still be choking.
The dice score.
He might be.
Ideal.
Hello.
Nami.
Hey, I'm here.
Welcome. Union.
I'm Union.
Alrighty. So, once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Adventures in Ilhern. I hope that you are prepared for the bare minimum of excitement that we have prepared for you this evening. Insert dramatic pause because no one responded to that beautiful furry pun.
Oh, I totally forgot.
Oh, bear. I get.
As I said last night, he bought a bear.
So, where we last left off, the party, having met in Groffen and begun their investigations on the presence of undead locally, had decided to forego following up after having found the drowned body of this bardic individual they encountered just a day or so before, after Nami went hunting for some Enigma feed. Foregoing that for the better and far more profitable 2,000 gold up front, dealing with an entire army of the undead. The party briefly made a quick side trek that evening to apply a gentle repose ritual onto the still body of Zealous. Having crossed a thin and withered beggar man and his daughter, who had apparently disturbed the cairn and was frightened off by none other than Ideal in a very emotionally charged use of his booming voice. Regathering and acquiring their supplies, Joseph made a point to try and acquire himself a mount that was a little more fireball resistant than the poor mule that had been with him since its youth, and lost for reasons that we don't bring up because Bella, you're a monster.
Well.
Stopping by the local farm at the behest of the handler lad working at the inn, the farmer informed him that his uncle-in-law happened to be a breeder and fine and serviceable riding horses here at the ready for use, as well as Leary and Dartha, a pair of mules that were quickly bought up for the bargain price of 10 gold as a package deal, only to inform Union that he would not be quickly joining the party to Rheindorf, but instead making way to an otherwise undetailed location, as in not a city marked itself, but a breeder's locale well off to the east, several days travel. Arriving and part driven by his own haste and the exhaustion that plagued him throughout the journey, he bought a bear. Having met with...
Wait, hold on. What the fuck?
He bought a bear. A riding bear.
He bought a bear.
Learn from
Oh,
fucking
by
annoying.
the way,
He bought a bear.
Great, just fucking great.
A riding bear, recently broken in with a custom saddle, and showed that he to be an adequate rider of this creature. The bear apparently just absolutely thrilled to make acquaintance with Joe, and opting not to buy the elephant.
At least
Um,
that. No, okay, never mind. The elephant would outsmart the entire fucking party.
Probably.
Rude.
but anyhow, uh, once the acquisition was acquired, paperwork signed, Joe, you hopped upon your saddle and began to try to quickly make haste to Rheindorf to reconnoiter with your party in their grave adventures in an attempt to deal with Orson, this rising surge of the undead, and countless cutthroats and fiends, only to promptly, after being strapped in and sent on your way, pass out from the sheer levels of exhaustion, on the verge of a sleepless death. We will get to that after we zoom in on the camping grounds of this burgeoning army, where the primary party has begun their scouting and infiltration. Um, we pan our camera down over this series of tents. One massive central tent that, for all purposes, should be designed as the main war tent, the place of planning. There, next to it, an ornate tent with this red skulled figure familiar to Union, backed though by this withered hand, that I believe caused a little bit of controversy and panic in some. Um, Ideal and Nami, with the assistance of the small Sassfield murder lass, whom still hasn't given you her name, have slipped in invisibly past the undead. Hundreds upon hundreds of writhing corpses sauntering about, awaiting being pointed towards some living being to feast upon. You've made your way deeper and deeper into the camp, heading in your own ways, as you have very little means of coordinating with each other. Being very careful not to make a sound. Every now and then there's a bit of panic as you can see these creatures now and then sniff at the air, if a tasty morsel is walking past them, and catching that faint fragrance of seafood. The first oddity and creatures that you saw were these undead horses with riders, uh, the upper half thereof sewn and stitched upon the back of the horse, parading about, keeping a watchful eye as they made their patrols. Avoiding losing one's lunch, the two of you have made it past that first patrol line and into the first series of tents. Here you can see a total of 8 nominally sized tents, several of which have banners of their own, that are turned away, so your party has yet to actually see them, as they ring about the central main tent, and all seem to be more focused on, as far as like their interests are pointed towards the more prominent oiled tent with the blackened banner. And this is where the two of you find out that you're next to each other. Fortunately, the die did favor you in this regard. But through the tent that you're standing at the moment, you can hear sounds this very harsh, guttural language with quick, choppy bursts back and forth between what sounds to be a much older, gruff voice, whereas the other is a little more spirited, female gauge maybe. And as you peek around the tent, you can see that there is a full orc, gray skinned in hide and bone armor with a gnarly and twisted spear standing guard. The most notable thing about him, otherwise, being that there is heavy black cloth wrapped about the eyes, much like a blindfold. I need a stealth check from both of you.
Okay. First one will be Nami's.
Okay.
Still advantage
It's his advantage.
because invisible.
Because of invisibility. Yes.
Nami got a
22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
I'm informing Nami.
And Ideal gets a 28.
I can't be in roll 20, so he has to tell me what I
he's
get
informed
and
me.
what I do.
Yep, we're good.
The two of you, without so much coordinated with each other, quickly step back as the head churns in your direction, and there's a brief moment where you're certain they saw you in some fashion, but with no immediate sense of pursuit. You feel confident you were quiet enough to not draw too much attention to yourselves.
By the way, do I recognize any of this iconography at all? Did I roll religion last week? I don't remember.
I believe you did.
I'm
Let me
scrolling
get past
down.
all the animal handlings.
I see a
There.
stone.
As far as my check goes back, as your one of your stealths. The one iconography that you do get, I would assume Union made a point, had pointed it out to the party, is the skull itself. But even with a dive into religious connotations, the hand eludes you.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be. You're fairly relieved. It's not the hand of Vecna.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
It's not the hand of Vecna. As it is more, instead of just kind of being there, it is physically seeming to like grasp the skull. You're welcome to try and look around at the other banners to see what you can see. So
I will do so.
Starting from the one that you're currently standing next, you and Nami are currently crouched next to. There is what appears to be a very angular skull, bleached off-white, with that same black band around the eyes in a blindfold fashion. This would be more of a history check on this one.
Okay. Not quite as good for me, but nope.
Best you can gauge, it's probably some orc tribe. It is definitely an orcish skull. Looking past that, you can see that there is this sky blue banner, which really stands out as probably the most colorful banners of the lot. And upon it, it looks to be a series of falling coins, starting at platinum and working their way down in overall value before it hits at the bottom this looks to be a sort of ripple effect of crimson, signifying a pool of blood that all this money is falling into. This likewise would be a history check. Okay. It's faint, but you have now very often heard of, particularly having dealt with Zulus as much as you have. You briefly did scour through some books and come across that there is sort of offshoot of a craftsman faction, that they instead of being craftsmen in and of themselves, they were the more mercantile.
The sellers of the ones.
Not even that. They're referred to as the shadow brokers.
Okay.
Which is a amusing moniker, as they are very open. They sell death. Not so much in the mercenary capacity, but they provide weapons and technology that otherwise the inferiors would not have been intelligent enough to make for themselves.
Okay.
This is probably the first time that you've heard anything of them actually operating here on this continent.
Got ya.
Continuing clockwise from them, so you would have started roughly about the 7 o'clock slot of the camp. Sorry, I'm starting to tickle a little. It's ow, pain. Pain hurts. Just so you know, kids, pain hurts.
Oh.
So they're just about the 10 o'clock section, and almost right next to that large tent is a simple light gray banner, upon which a split crown and a axe running through the split. This would once again fall under a history check. 21. This is a mercenary group that you would very much have run across. There's stories told of them throughout varying levels of bardic lore. They mainly operate in the southern regions here on this continent. They are crown splitters. They specialize in aggressive change of regime. They are not nice people. They are also not cheap. It is said that
so they have a fair amount of money.
they are said that their weapons themselves are valued at the cost of a god's drop of blood. They are They are writers of history with a blade, which may be talking up. It's bards doing bard things, but
Yeah.
Bard's gonna bard.
You can recount at least 5 instances of them actively being the cause of a shift of who was king in varying regions. You then have the main tent itself. There are no banners about it. You can see that there is a mix of guards. Another one of the orcs, this large, it's not quite a full giant, lumbering, long-limbed creature that seems to be favoring this blackened rock club that is about as long as your leg, and about as thick as Nami is wide, and the actual smashing portion of it, as well as
It's quite small.
I mean, it's for someone that's hitting you, that's quite a bit.
It was a joke. 'Cause never mind.
As well as what appears to be a hooded and cowled figure, where you can see there is a brace of daggers around their wrist, a series of them on their legs. They're intentionally a walking armory. Many of these don't look functional, but there's enough weaponry there to arm a small thieves guild. As well as the more standard like humans. This one in plate mail, this one in leather. There's two that are in chain. Looks to be a man and woman who are doing the majority of the talking amongst them. More at each other, just trying to. As you can tell, it's just really crappy. It's too quiet. Someone, please God, talk. This guard duty sucks. Kind of carrying of voices over the air. And then beside that, you see the banner that is very prominent and stands high enough that it can be seen over the camp from where your comrades await your report. The red skull with the grasping, withered hand. The others are in such a position that until you move deeper into the camp, you can't make out the two nearest you as they're turned. So
Away from us.
you'd be looking at the back of them.
Got ya.
2, 3. The one next to what in theory should be Orson's tent. The banner itself is quite plain. It's literally just a banner of plain red, no iconography at a glance. You rack your brain for a moment as you're trying very quickly to just kind of flick your eyes from one banner to the next, and it's jarringly nothing. Followed by the last one that you can currently see, being this simple plate mail fist gripping at a lightning bolt, which first would think to be what is it? I think Torm off the top of my head, without cheating and having to re-Google. But when you look at the lightning bolt, it is this writhing mass of snakes. This would be a religion check.
Oh, good. Finally, the one I'm good at. Of course.
17 is enough that you jog your memory again. This is very quickly trying to just gauge the camp and the layout. These are the followers of the Silent. That particular iconography referring to the militant arm. The snake catchers. Their entire purpose, as you vaguely know, is to get rid of anyone who may or not have let a secret out that they weren't supposed to.
Do I know what god they follow?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
That's one of the secrets.
Got ya.
But they are probably the only real open and out front faces of this organization. And they make it clear that if you try to pry, they will meet you with force.
Got ya.
And that is of the mini tents, the banners that you can currently see until you get deeper into the camp.
Okay. Also, Nami would like to look around to see if she can find something to steal real quick.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Perception?
If you're trying to do it quick and dirty, yes. If you're trying to be a little more thorough, make sure it's something actually of worth, it'd be investigation.
Investigation. Okay.
And this all matters whether or not you're staying out of tents to do so, and just trying to grab something off of one of the guards on watch, or standing, sitting down by where their stuff is posted up, or actually intend to try and slip into one of these tents.
18.
Mm-hmm. I need to know
And
the
tents.
going into the tents. Okay. In a fit of bravado, realizing the bounty of being invisible, you slip past very carefully behind that orcish guard. And there you can see inside the two figures that are talking. It is this old, withered orc that is actually posted up in bed. Looks very sickly. His hair is grayed and thinned as this fiery, orcish woman is basically just laying into him with a series of insults, as best you can tell without knowing the language. Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand and a stealth.
Okay. Sleight of hand.
Okay.
That was a 6 on the natural die, so a 21. Was this at advantage or no?
This is not at advantage.
The sleight of hand?
No.
Neither?
Neither are. This is the ability to stay quiet.
Okay. And natural 20.
Beautiful. Eyes flick about the tent, making sure to more watching the body language to be sure that the woman, who you realize now is armed with another one of those very wicked-looking spears, making sure she's not going to turn around abruptly as you creep in. And there on the table you can see a series of small leather pouches, but you manage to ignore most of those. Scooping up first a map and rolling it away and tucking it. As soon as you grab it, it disappears in your hand. Now that it's carried by you, and then what appears to be a gemmed feather. So you have the sort of that feather bone running up the side of it. That is very carefully encrusted with small, very beautiful gems. Far more eye-catching than the plain leather bags. Pluck it free from its inkwell. It too disappears in your hand, and like a ghost, you slip on out. Not even Ideal is aware that you have returned to him at that point. Which would be about the time that he's been, kind of finished assessing the tents that he can currently see, and suddenly there's a physical presence next to you. It's a little startling. At first, you think the orc is found you.
I jump a little bit, but don't make a noise. So we are just kind of scouting around, right?
The plan is try and get as much information as you are able to. You've lost sight of your guard, so to speak, your escort.
The one who invisibled us?
Yep.
Did she tell us how long our invisibility lasts, or is it per the spell, or?
It's, as far as you're aware, she casted the invisibility spell.
Okay, how long has it been?
It's been about 20 minutes now.
I might want to start heading back.
What do you do?
I think I am gonna start heading back to the group because I don't want to get caught.
Good
What?
plan.
You got an hour, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing with that. I've seen what they have here just, at a quick glance. I don't need that.
Okay. Is Nami going to back out with you?
Yes.
Okay. I need stealth checks. These would be at advantage as you are attempting to stay out of sight. I begin to slip
And
through.
she is keeping an eye out for a good grab.
Okay, that will be a perception check as it's on the
Yeah.
move.
That one is Nami's.
Okay.
And this is mine. By the way, Nami, you got a 23. Ooh, that's not great. That's a 15.
Okay.
And then here's her perception. 13.
Okay. Now you're making your way out of the camp, getting this sense of urgency, a quick, very hushed conversation between Ideal and yourself, deciding that it's better to take what you got, not even knowing has no idea you've actually have acquired a map of any sorts, but at least getting the grand scheme of what parties are involved. You begin making your way out, trying to keep your eyes watching, and unfortunately, most of what you see are the arms and armaments upon the undead themselves. Nothing of safe taking. Um, and as you're focused on your own ability to make way out of the camp, ideal you actually have your head half turned, kind of trying to see those last two banners. Just maybe the wind will flap, and you're not really paying attention, and you slam into this large, meaty body of one of those horse creatures.
Hmm.
It stops in its place, and you can see the rider. And as you look up to it, it is this fetid and dried out, desiccated form that is still moving, and it looks straight at where you are on a dexterity save as this arcing scythe-like sword swings at your place.
Oh, jeez.
Ugh.
Okay. The blade
That's
connects
a 12.
as you dive out, and there's a splattering of blood that smacks the ground. Nami, I need an athletics checks from you as the horde about you begins to grow with vigorous fervor, turning towards the smell of fresh blood and beginning to rush towards Ideal. Ideal, I will need another one from you, but first I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Also, Nami said fog cloud.
Okay, you're casting fog, which breaks your invisibility.
That's my con save.
Okay.
Here's her athletics.
Yeah, where is she casting the?
Hold on. She did not know it broke invisibility. That's okay.
So she's going to stay invisible.
Staying invisible. I need to. Here's her athletics. Natural 20 for her.
Nami, you just bolt. As you can hear, Ideal issues out a loud shout of pain. You've taken 6 slashing damage,
Mm-hmm.
2 poison damage, and you manage to physically shrug off this pulse of some unknown poison or disease. You don't have the time to really think of it at the moment as you begin to try and push through and are overwhelmed as you're just trying to push past all these undead who are now reacting to the presence of your blood. Even as you are invisible, they turn and start swiping at where the smell is coming from. You are under a series of attacks.
All right.
This is more going to be a skill challenge as opposed to a combat, as physically you do not have enough swings per minute to try and deal
to
with.
cut through.
Yes, so this is going to be, you're welcome to try and use the skills available to you, any means of distraction or drawing them off of you, but at the moment you are pressed on by a immeasurable weight of the undead. You can attempt, of course, to continue athletics to try and push through. Otherwise,
I'm gonna try to acrobatically make my way through.
Okay, so you're attempting to sort of push your way and roll and sort of let them make you go through as opposed to force your way through. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what you got. This is a skill challenge, so it's going to take multiple successes.
Yes. That's a 25.
Okay. As the first wave pushes through, you allow it to actually push you all the way back to that horse creature, only to allow you to roll around, and you can see the next wave of undead making their way towards you. By now, Nami, what?
Nami would like to know if she can water wall between myself and some of them.
Again, any casting that you do is going to break your invisibility. But you are welcome to attempt to. You are still in the middle of the horde yourself.
How close to the edge are we?
Nowhere.
Okay.
You're just getting out from the tent, so you still have the entirety of the undead army to get past.
Okay. Never mind from her.
Okay. I need another action from you at this point, as you see that there's another surge of undead. That ridden creature, the withered horse, goes to bite at where it's more reacting to your smell.
Okay, I'm going to try my best to try to re-hide using my invisibility,
Okay.
using stealth.
Now they're reacting to the smell, not to the sight, so it's not going to be advantage.
Yeah. Stealth.
Okay.
Much better, 20.
You duck between under the belly of the horse as you hear the loud chomp of its teeth. Many of your pursuers slam into it and start clawing at the recent drippings of blood there on the ground. They are in a feeding frenzy as they try to find something a little more substantial.
Like a horse person?
It unfortunately doesn't have that living essence to it
Fair.
that they're after. I need either an athletics to continue just trying to push through, or a stealth from Nami as the frenzy is slowly issuing and making its way out amongst the crowd.
I am assuming stealth, Nami? Not at advantage or still at advantage?
This would be at advantage. She's physically just trying to be unseen.
That's 24.
Okay. Nami, you're on the verge of making out from the army at this point, and towards the remainder of your companions. Briefly, Union, Bella, the two of you, along with the mercenaries that you're traveling with, suddenly see this change of atmosphere. The undead army, for a moment, looked like they were about to surge forth and go on the march before they turn inwards onto the camp. And you can see there is some kind of focal point there by one of the tents. Can't see what's going on at the moment.
Well, that seems pretty bad.
I worry for our companions.
Okay. So how far out am I from freedom?
It's a matter of, are you going to try and push through, or again try to roll with the tide and make your way out?
I'm gonna continue trying to be all sneaky and
Okay.
use my stuff I'm actually good at.
Duly noted.
$17.
You claw and clamber at the ground, quickly throwing up a cloud of dust, intentionally drawing the eye and the focus of this series of ghouls and zombies and other very dangerous individuals that go diving on it, hoping once again to grasp whatever it is has stirred up the bloodlust, before you quickly edge around the tents and break away from the army in full. Just a full sprint, just praying your invisibility doesn't drop. as you have no control over it. And as you make your way out eastward of Rheindorf, almost making it all the way to the river, you find yourself grasping the slash, feeling that it's a pretty deep cut. Fortunately, didn't hit any nerves or really get into too much of the tissue. Before very quietly you, Nami, and the rest of your party regroup there at your sort of pop-up base camp. Still invisible. With it's been now about 35 minutes since the spell was cast. As you arrive, it drops.
And I am holding my side.
So I take it went well.
Ow!
That looks well.
Idiot.
You are wounded.
No shit.
I was expressing concern.
I'll be fine.
Your guts are hanging out.
I'll cast a Cure Wounds.
Okay.
And she has pulled out the map and placed the pretty feather in her hair.
There is still ink on the. This is a writing implement. So there's a slowly growing black spot, which it looks nice. It might stain a little, but it is a gorgeous feather.
And back to full. And I assume the 2 poison was not halved.
It was not halved.
Okay. She is saying, I got some toys, and I assume doing a little dance.
Well, as Nami celebrates and berates Ideal for his lack of roguing, the party in full can watch as you can see that small figure, a dot amongst a lot of them, sprinting past the tents and out eastward, much like Ideal had. More not noticing that figure itself, but the small trail of other figures chasing after it.
Oh, hey.
Where then suddenly there's a little burst of purple light, and she's gone.
So, Ideal, what did your little reconnaissance raid reveal?
They got a lot of money, and the size hurts. And Nami says, well, she fucked up too.
Could have been your guys' mess up that messed up for her.
Nah.
You are very confident of that.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
And I am completely bullshitting.
Yes, you are. I almost had him. Thanks.
I'm sorry. I'm doing my best.
You turn and she's sitting there on a barrel of supplies, kicking her feet, with one of her daggers dripping with blood. Which, Ideal and Bella, having seen how she casts, might be her own? Anyhow, the wards will be going up now. Thanks. They're down 2 casters, though, so I'd say that was a success. What'd you find?
Well, a map. And some... I was able to figure out some of the groups. And what's his face is in trouble with his wife from Nami.
Assumes
Orson
marriage,
is
I love it.
married?
I'm
So, looks
sure she
like
would
we're
relay
dealing-
that she's referring to an orc, not Orson.
Yes, an orc.
I did not know orcs wed.
Shrug. I imagine everybody weds somehow. Even my family weds. And I think that was a female from Nami.
I do not judge, nor does Lathander.
Also, we have the Shadow Brokers in in that army, as well as the Krat Crown and the Followers of the Silent.
Crown splitters.
Crown Splitters. That I need to change my notes.
That's all right.
And I did not recognize the red banner.
Those are no mere trifling bands of mercenaries you name. The undead as well.
Yeah. They got a
This is
like
quite
kind of
alarming.
undead centaur looking things. And she has tucked the map she tucked the map back away.
Okay. The one eye's over there trying to look at it, and she just rolls it up right in front. I'm like, okay.
Also, she says, "I want the horse." I assume the undead centaur looking thing. Her map.
Okay. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I paid you up front, but if you want to go ahead and keep secrets, that would be of tactical benefit to your own survival, by all means.
Nami, I implore you to share the map with our allies.
By the way, Ideal, did you
But
Well, Riley?
was the red banner described?
it was just a red banner.
No other markings you could make out?
No. Also, she calls dibs on writing with it with her pen. The map, I assume.
She calls dibs writing on the map with her pen?
With her new pen.
Okay. That's fine with me, as long as her handwriting ain't shit.
Quill. She said quill,
Yeah.
not pen.
As long as handwriting ain't shit, I don't mind. I just want to see this map you got out of there. There were some there were some worrying signs. As she rolls it back out, he points. And my computer freezes up. No, stop, please. Please. I need to push buttons. Please. Insert technical difficulties picture here, please.
Do 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 do.
Technical difficulties. Do.
So, like, for example, why is Genjin and Windzone marked off with X's?
Has anybody heard from them recently?
We haven't scouted that far north. But, I mean, as two of the major suppliers from the Baccio region, that's comforting, to say the least. Those who are
Gotcha.
squinting at the map, that is the one further upriver and the one straight across from it.
That's not good.
And there's errors here marking Fornal and Tersburg. Huh.
Are these targets they could be marching toward?
I mean, if I was in charge, I would take out any connecting trade routes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we cannot allow people there to be slaughtered by such a force as this. But we are but few, and they are many.
He flops down by the barrel where the little ones are just kicking their feet around. Yeah, they're many, all right.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, army gets here.
Yeah, I bet Nami would. Sorry, I just got a gift.
Question is, even with this army, do we have enough?
I don't know. I'm not the one putting it together. I mean, probably a bunch of fledgling adventurers hoping for glory, and Towns Guard who are well past their years of retirement. That's how it normally ends up. It's how we made our money.
Fair.
That, from what you described, that will not be enough.
I mean, if there's a handful of more holy men like Ryla here, that might turn the tide. Maybe a little. Shit. I'm gonna start running out of favors to call.
Nami holds fireball times 10?
Pretty
Be a
sure I
star.
can only do it once every now and then.
Well, Bella, you just gotta get stronger and figure out how to do it faster.
Oh, okay. Why don't you learn to stealth better?
Could you have done that? Ideal crosses his arms.
I don't know. Maybe. I've never tried.
How about we don't try?
All right. How about we don't fireball times 10?
That would be fun.
Why don't?
It would be, but I can't do it.
I mean, I'm for either of these. Please stealth better, and by all means, more fireballs are more fun. So, question mark?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Now, I will say that while their security is going to be a little higher, I won't be able to probably bounce out of there like I did before. I'm sure there will be a ward against teleportations of any sort. So that's unfortunate.
Probably one against invisibility too.
I'd imagine so. Well, they've already got that. Those Black Veil orcs of yours.
Also, Nami would like to know more magical people.
Are you asking if they've got more, or if we're expecting more? Because I can tell you, I only took out 2.
I think us expecting more.
I mean, y'all are expecting Joe.
He will be here.
again, all we did was send a letter, and we got confirmation that they were going to put something together. What they actually do is beyond me.
If there was enough of a distraction, could our stealthy friends sneak in and strike at Orson while the Vanguard and these Outriders are distracted?
I tried. And she looks at the blood on the blade. He shouldn't have stood up.
You've fought him.
I wouldn't call that a fight. But if I stuck you or I stuck him, guarantee we wouldn't be having this conversation. And he didn't get up like the others I dealt with. He got up. I didn't see any fancy medallions or special devices about him that would have protected him from such a grievous wound. He shrugged it off and smacked me like I was a rag doll. Busted my invisibility right up.
Then he must have some power most infernal or supernatural.
Or he's got two hearts. Who knows?
Yeah.
Do orcs have two hearts?
Probably not, but you never know.
Anyhow, now that they know that's how we got in, I don't think they'll put up wards so much as a little tribe there will be posted up everywhere now. They don't see you per se, but your spirit. It must be unsettling for them having a whole bunch of soulless undead around them.
I can only imagine.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
So brute force then. This is the big guy talking.
Union looks around at the other ones, and I mean no disrespect, but many of our party are not made for standing in line, shield raised, blades clashing. It is not how we best engage with foes, especially not of that many and that martial prowess.
Nami is suggesting sabotaging from within. There are several groups, none I bet trust each other.
If you're a mad woman enough to try and get back in there.
It is not a bad idea. If we could mend distrust, turn them against one another, it could create an opening.
Well, this is ideal speaking. Aren't we going to have to get back in there to destroy the artifact?
Still gotta find the damn thing. I figured it'd be in his tent, but didn't see it. Or at least nothing it could have been. Maybe in the war chant itself?
And that was exactly Nami's point about us having to destroy artifact.
I mean, if you're going to target one of these groups, you may want to narrow down your ambitions.
Okay.
There are orcs among them.
Yes.
A rampaging orc tribe in the middle of their encampments might put a damper on their plans.
I don't think that's gonna work. Union seems me using your name.
Why not?
Because the orcs are probably the most loyal to Orson.
orcs.
They're not just savage orcs. They've made agreements for generations now with Baal himself. Gave up their sight. The whole pluck their eyes out at birth kind of loyalty.
Well, I do admire that level of dedication.
Nami says, "What about the badass ones, the god killers, the crown splitters?"
I mean, I don't know about your treasury, but I don't got 100,000 platinum just laying around to buy them out.
No, I don't either. And that's what it would take for them to betray. Nami's saying don't need money.
Well, I'm all ears, little
Make
lady.
something else worthwhile.
If they're legitimately crown splitters and not just someone flying the banner, they don't betray unless you can pay several king's ransoms. I mean, it's kind of what a king's ransom is not enough because guys, that's their bread and butter. At least that's how it's been throughout. Back in my swinging days. I'm just trying to think what king they're here to topple. We're not exactly a royally run region.
What is the overall thing of power of this area? And Nami's Mumbling could try to make a bet to get more money.
You can find someone with deep enough pockets. I'll make that wager. Anything to keep this place in peace. Insolent itself is run by an elected council. Typically elected through the heads of the various
Well, they could be trying to get the council.
we'll just elect another one. It's kind of what we do. Not the first time they've been murdered.
But what if the people behind, the people playing the crown splitters destroy any ability for a vote to be had, and they take over?
This force that stands opposed to us does not look like one that would be interested in putting themselves apart in some bureaucratic council. It looks as if they would burn the cities and slaughter the people.
Okay, so I've got a question about when they were in the camp and the undead started going after them. Was it just a section of undead, or was it like all of them?
It was a sort of ripple effect. Once the immediate reaction of fresh blood being spilled, it slowly made its way out and became more and more fervent.
We could theoretically reduce some of their numbers. At least move them.
Who did we lose?
Skorgan.
Skorgan had he's gonna go pick up his nephew.
Got ya.
So, for those who are wondering what Skorgan is doing, he's riding a bear.
Well, we knew that.
He is riding a bear. Are the undead, are they connected? A central mind of some kind? A central wizard or lich or priest or something?
Who are you asking?
Group in general.
And Nami wants to know if they can swim. Do they swim?
The undead? Sure, to some comical levels they could. If not, they just walk along the bottom. Assuming the current's not bad enough to wash them away. But, that many bodies clog it up real quick. I know for certain that the two I took out weren't in the necromancers behind the rising. I'm personally worried, and this is like the first time she's kind of lost her playful edge to her statements. I'm worried that it's the artifact itself. No necromancer or spirit caller, whatever you want to do. I just don't know how far out it reaches. If it's, I gotta find it. I can find it. I can put blade to it. I can destroy it, and we'd all die happy, right?
If, going back to my previous suggestion, if we cannot use a distraction to take down Orson, we could use a distraction to destroy the artifact, at least level the score a little bit.
And can we trace the magical essence of it from Nami?
Can you trace the magical essence? It's not my specialty. I don't have that sort of sight granted to me.
I do have detect magic, but I'm sure that magic's lit up like a Christmas tree. Or insert proper in world.
What is Christmas?
Find out next month.
Oh no.
It's where we hang little bulbs of glass off your antlers, Union, and then we kick you around and pretend you can fly.
That sounds amazing.
I do not think I like Christmas.
Riley, was it? You had some means you wanted to try and draw away the undead? We're all ears.
I mean, I could, slash a gash in the and pray that they follow me, but that's a run.
I mean, I applaud you for wanting to be bait.
Well, I am a fish.
Enigma just yawns.
Well, my next question would be, how well do those of you who went in before think you can get around with the undead out?
Well, I don't know.
I want to be invisible again. At least for today. I'm tapped out.
Yeah, I think.
As long as you get around, I think you'd be alright.
I will note that at this point it is almost on the verge of darkness.
But basically, if we can give you time or better odds to find the artifact, then I think we should go for that.
I think what we want to do is wait until the army gets here and have them act as a distraction. Then we send the team in to try to get it.
But how Union is distressed at this? You would be sending innocent men to die.
I wouldn't say we must say innocent. You act like adventures and such are without sin, Union. This is probably the most numerically advantageous option. I mean, these are volunteers. They knew what they were signing up for. Mostly.
I mean, it wasn't too horrible to go through, at least for me, to go through the camp if someone didn't get cut and run into a horse's arse. I think we'd do it again.
I was trying to get more information.
Well, focus next time.
She
Yes,
said as the ink is slowly still spreading through her hair.
I'm going black. You never go back.
Jesus Christ.
Don't you mean Lathander?
Cut?
Praise Lathander.
So they're drawn to blood?
I believe so. At least they were when they started chasing me.
But did the horse dude look at you? Cause I didn't get a good angle. Just saw him
Don't
swing.
think he looked at me. I think he swung because I ran into him. Then I couldn't dodge out of the way of his scythe in time.
But the orc definitely.
The orc definitely saw us.
Oh yeah, if any of those land eyes on you, you ain't hiding. You'll be lit up like a candle in their vision.
So then, if we wait for you to be able to be all magically sneak, could we just go back in and be a little more careful about not running into a horse's arse and avoiding those orcs and try to find the artifact again?
It's a matter of whatever wars and other traps they would have laid out now that they're aware that we're present. I mean, I again did attempt to take out one of the leaders. As I'm sure they'll raise the guard, even as ineffectual as my attack was. So we either try now, we wait till we have bait, we make use of one of your companions here to try and draw the horde away. Either way, I have to rest before I can try any of this again.
I think we all could use the rest.
I ain't moving for the dark, so.
And when we do rest up the hut.
How many people are you fitting in the hut at this point?
Just for the party.
Not the mercs?
No.
Bitch, you keep complaining it's gonna be a Nami and Nami and ideal safety hut only.
Wait, why not me?
No, you could come in too.
Bella, what did I do?
Basically everybody but you, Dean.
That's better.
I am disappointed.
You have a displacer beast.
Yeah, go cuddle with your kitty, see how he likes it.
I mean, let's not act rash here.
But I thought he was the goodest of good boys.
Well, look, he is, but that doesn't mean he's a fan of caroling.
Anybody yawns.
How do you know you haven't tried?
Everyone has a different love language, alright? And Enigma's is not cuddling.
And you would know about love language?
It's fish. He likes fish.
That's Nami just face palms.
At this point, the sun is officially fallen behind the horizon.
Give me safety bubble. Please.
Are we done here for the night, I think? I'm asking that in character.
Unless we want to mount some kind of daring raid.
Let's not. And I'll start creating.
As you,
Are
as you
sure
start
you
your
don't
ritual
want
and you
to
start looking
throw
around,
one fireball?
the big guy is missing.
Their big guy?
Their big guy has poofed.
Is short stuff still here?
She's right there on the barrel.
Where did he go?
Oh.
Does yours do that too, where they just disappear into nowhere?
Oh no, Bran went to go pick a fight.
So yours does that too, got it.
Well, I mean, he didn't disappear.
No, but just go away to get a fight.
Wait, I want to watch. Where'd he go?
Do you want to watch or be in the bubble?
Can I watch from the bubble?
Maybe.
With whom did he incite a quarrel?
Don't know
Why,
yet.
Fate?
What?
What was that, Riley?
Why would Fate have it that now there's someone who wants a fight?
If, like, Zealous would finally found someone to bond with. The battle buddies.
Yeah, he does this. Whether he gets out alive or not, he doesn't really seem to care. But
Yeah, that seems
Yes,
familiar.
but if he incites the army to charge up this hill while we are camping, it becomes our business.
I don't think he's that stupid.
You just raise
Okay,
an
maybe
eyebrow.
he is. I'm gonna go watch. I need to make bets on this. Who's betting?
you been for or against?
I'm not sure yet. What are the odds?
We'll say I'll give you 10-1. He survives with
10 to
kills.
1. How many?
Go ahead and make your stake. Within reason.
4 kills and he survives with them.
She drops a little bag of gold at her feet.
Nami will match it.
From under the hood, you can see a little smile as the bubble finishes going up. Night falls. She informs you that she'll be up for at least the first chunk to try and see if she can't spot any of the fun herself. But otherwise, she doesn't intend to take the entirety of the watch. So, how would you like to organize your camp for the evening?
I'll take first watch.
You'll take second.
I'll take third.
Okay. Those who post up to get their rest at the startup, roll out their bedrolls, either in or out of the bubble as their designated location it requires.
I assume perceptions.
Perceptions.
Do I need a perception to try to watch the fight?
Waiting on his roll.
That's 9.
As your party settles down, eats cold meal warmed up only through anyone having prestidigitation.
You're welcome.
Is One Eye's made it clear that there will be no fire this evening. There is a sudden surge of activity round about where the Crown Splitter tent was. Can't really make out details from up there.
Oh, he went deep. All innuendos intended.
She's just sitting on the barrel, just kicking her feet, watching. You can see now, As you're now sitting low enough to actually see your face, there's an older than probably expected for her otherwise youthful exuberance, older face and very hardened eyes staring into that camp. And every now and then you see her lips starting to mutter something. There's a twitch where she's almost like she's about to launch off to go and help. And then she just cracks a smile and goes lays on her bedroll. I'll collect my money in the morning.
Wait, hold on. What? Hold on. What did you see?
She just rolls over without a response. You try and peer down. Overall, the camp seems to settle. The undead are a little frenzious. As you can see in some torchlight, some men dragging something and just toss them, whatever it is, into the horde for feeding. Do you intend to continue to stay up to try and watch?
Yeah.
Alright, so Union, as you post up, Nami's just sitting there, just. What is trying so hard to figure out what the hell is going on?
Are you alright, little one?
Shh. Shut up. Move your antlers. I can't see.
Union obliges.
As you two post up, you can watch.
Wait. Union, I'm standing on your antlers. Stay still.
What?
Also, here's Nami's perception. I'm sorry. That's a 9.
Okay. You don't quite manage to get up on his antlers. They are not a load-bearing structure.
Ow, ow, ow. No, you can stand on the shoulders, not my antlers.
She's still trying.
As you clamber up and use him for height, you start squinting, and you're more distracted by the very sharp, pointy antlers sticking into your legs. And sure enough, there in the cast of moonlight, you can see this large, lumbering figure making his way towards the camp.
I believe that is our missing combatant.
Oh, fuck this. I need to go see what Nami's going to run. Like, use Union as like a springboard to like jump off of him, launch out of safety bubble, and run down to go see what the hell he just
Riley,
did.
that's what you wake up to, is you just see Nami dive out of this bubble. If I hire this band, I need him. You come sprinting down, and he's no longer wearing that heavy brown robe that had been concealing him for the most part. And what you run down to in the moonlight is a man covered in head to toe scars, holding his dismembered arm. You can see his jaws hanging loose, but there in the now atrophied hand is holding 4 heads.
Her jaw is just going to drop, and all she's gonna say is, "You have to teach me how you just did that."
As he lumbers past you, there is a stillness to his eyes. You realize that he doesn't even so much look at you. And you realize his motions are very akin to the undead that you sauntered past earlier in the day. And this whisper of a voice issues out. It's simple. Die. And he makes his way up to the camp. And as you stand, sort of letting that sink in, everything goes black.
Fuck.
Nami. I was wondering when you'd slip up.
Hey, friend. Let's shake it.
Riley, as you're posting up, there's a sudden blot of darkness.
Do Do I see that as well? Because
Um,
she just springboarded off me.
Go ahead and roll a perception.
Eh?
Fuck, I knew you were gonna do this the minute she walked out of the safety bubble. Damn it.
It takes you a little longer, and it's actually with Riley pointing out this topographical oddity of this is a spot the moonlight doesn't seem to be hitting. So basically, if Riley doesn't tell you in character, you don't know.
Really, do you tell?
Yes, so Shining One.
Joe?
When did he get here?
Union blinks. I've been called a lot of names, but that might be a first.
Great, I can see his ego through the darkness.
I'm the shining beacon of the Thandar, here to banish the darkness. Union just strikes dramatic pose as Nami gets eaten by a vampire.
There's a gentle caress running along your jaw. Do make sure I give my thanks to what was his name? Ideal. He made it such a long way, extending my journey.
I can make it longer if you'd like. You know, you really should go out and see the world, experience.
Oh, darling, the world is a boring, rotten place.
I could make it more interesting.
It stops this, like, very sharp nailed thumb right on your chin, lifting it up. Presumably up so he can see your face. But again, all you see is this empty void of light.
Darkness, you mean?
A void of light.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh, shall we go see what that is? Nami has not returned.
I give it another 3 minutes before the white one, holier than thou, finally realizes just how in trouble you really are.
You know, I don't know if he will actually see it. He's kind of dense if you haven't noticed.
Ah,
Oh,
my
Nami,
pride.
you have so much potential. You know this hurts, right? It's been a long time since I felt pain.
You know, we could strike a deal.
We already did.
Another one? For 3?
Maybe I'll have to go swimming in the depths to see just how deluded your family really is for such greedy little offspring to have been produced.
Listen, I don't care about my family anymore. Go right ahead, go pay them a visit. I'm more concerned about the relationship you and I are here to carry out. Because you did say, you know, I have potential, and you know what a waste would it be if I were to be killed right now? I mean, it could be your entertainment.
And yet here you are with that, and the darkness splits, and all you can see is the camp. I'll make a deal with you.
Oops. Uh-huh.
I'll give you my blessing, even. All you have to do is walk into the middle of that camp alone.
I'm assuming he points at the undead camp and not the nice camp, right?
The camp that you were in earlier today that is now on full alert. Just walk in like you own the place. You're used to that. Amuse me.
And if I do,
Well, then you reap the rewards.
and I assume here,
Pardon?
and I assume if I don't, you kill me here and now?
That'd be too simple. We've only got a minute now before the light bulb goes off.
Riley, I'm
She said
starting to
something
think.
like that.
I've, for the record, told him to go, and if he sees trouble, signal so I can wake people.
Alright, Union would be like creeping down, staying low, greatsword out like in his hand toward the
It's the
Horrible
large, scar-covered man that crosses you first. Just walks right past you. Uses his
Okay.
detached arm to wave at you.
Nice heads. Have you seen the little fish girl?
Points back with the arm. She's talking to a friend.
That's not good.
And that's when the light bulb hits.
And Nobby's going to hold out her hand in the general direction of where he is and goes, with your blessing? Deal.
There's a sharp pain at your wrist.
Oh my god, yes! Sorry.
I need a
Second time.
I need a Constitution save.
Ideal, make it. I don't know if it should be good or bad, but make it so.
Exactly mediocre.
You are welcome to fail intentionally.
That's a 12.
You fail regardless. The darkness turns into little pinpricks as your sight changes. The sickly feeling for it once again is a series of nothingness. The pain leaves, and there is what sounds like a slice of skin. Your head is tilted back, and a drop of this coppery tasting liquid spills upon your lip. For you are pushed out of the ring of darkness. You see Nami stomach stagger forward as she's wiping her lip.
Union is like full on charging at this point.
And the darkness disappears, as to its caster.
Oh, God, I really hope that was blood and not something else. And with that, Nami is going to uphold her deal, and she's not going to look at Union or anything. She's going to turn, look directly at the camp, and march her ass in there like she owns the place.
What?
Okay.
Union's gonna hold out a hand and then just sort of
You're still running towards her. That's a lot. It's a lot of ground to cover.
He's gonna like slow down as he sees her walk toward the camp and watch, but not like tackle her in front of the zombies or whatever.
Okay.
She's going for it.
Okay.
She made
So
a deal.
I need a wisdom save. As you feel your foot press against something, and there's a flare of light.
Ideal.
19.
You shrug off this brief moment where you feel your mind blank. Your body staggers for a second, and your next step catches, and you continue your steady march forward. You realize the guards didn't so much as look at you.
Oh, we are fucking owning this strut now.
I need a
Just gonna keep
dexterity
going.
save. As blatantly you are just walking through a small army worth of traps.
15.
He said walk through like you own the place.
Union, there where you're posted up, and Riley being the one awake, Bella and Ideal, you're welcome to roll perception at disadvantage as you are unconscious. There is an explosion in the northwestern section of the camp as a gout of flame just washes over Nami.
Ow.
Cooked fish.
At this point,
Enigma just perked up, sniffing, like tail lashing back and
smoked salmon.
forth.
Bitch, she's tuna. She's high grade, damn it.
Even better.
Pride. You make it to the center of the camp. There is now, because of the explosion, a surge of activity. Individuals are running about you. Some seem to run through you. You attempt to interact with anything, though,
new.
and you find your hand passes through it.
Oh, that's very new. Ooh, this is interesting.
There's
Nami's
this
been-
dawning realization, though, that this is temporary, and the effects are bleeding off quickly.
How quickly are they bleeding off?
You have no idea.
Maybe let's start running back now.
I'm in the very center of the camp, right?
You are right in front of the main tent.
The main tent we were just in?
No, the main tent. Like the big, like circus-sized tent.
Oh, we're going in it. We're gonna duck into it.
Okay. You slip through the folds, and you can see several. What message come back to? You, several guards again running past you. One of them stops in place, and you realize it's one of the orcs, and they are staring dead at you. Say something in that guttural language that is lost on your ears, and begins making motions of an incantation. You quickly scan the room with your passive perception, and you can see that centermost is a strange idol. It's hard to make out details with the lack of light, as there's still this weird pinprickish feeling. And you can hear, when that orc starts, another one picks up and begins chanting as well. And another. And another.
Okay, now we fuck out of here.
Okay. You turn and run, and as you step out, smack hard into a full-plated individual. There's that surge of the pain wasn't so much from actually running into them, but running into them and then not being able to share that space as you are shunted. That both of you stagger back as this large figure in full plate armor, the moon cast behind him, hiding the features of his face, and all you can see is a large red skull emblazoned upon his breastplate. And that is where we fade to black.
Oh, I fucked up, but this is so amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's like the only time Nami is not a coward is when she's facing a giant horde of fucking undead.
Yeah.
2,000 gold buys a whole lot of courage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
Also, he's been waiting ever so patiently for you to fuck up.
I know, and that's what's irking me. Is I was like, I'm gonna run out, and I'm gonna be really, really quick about it. I was like, I'm gonna run out, talk to the guy, and run back. And then I was like, shit, if I do that, he's gonna show up. And lo and behold, you're just like, nope, no chance to